Everyone has nightmares. But for actors, they can take a very different form because their worst nightmares happen when they are wide awake.
And I fly off the ramp and into the lap of a patron in the front row.
All the lines went out of my head.
You're missing your entrance.
And I cold cock him in the jaw.
And I feel something crawl into my ear canal and go inside.
He takes the chicken costume head off and makes his toupee stand straight up on his head.
What I've been saying in Vietnamese translates to, my hurts when I don't look at you.
I'm Luann Moldovan, host of The Actor's Nightmare. Join us each week for real horror stories from the stage, told by the actors who actually lived through them. Sometimes terrifying, sometimes hard to believe, often very funny. And every actor who has been around long enough has at least one nightmare story from the stage that made them think, it's time to get a real job. Hi, I'm Luann Moldovan, and welcome to The Actor's Nightmare. We have a great story today, but before we get into it, I want to thank our sponsors who have been so supportive of the show. First, a big shout out to Artists Repertory Theater, Portland's premier regional theater company, producing intimate, provocative shows that provide a home for a diverse community of artists where they can thrive and take risks. Check out their 2019-2020 season at www.artistrep.org. Also, thanks so much to our patrons, Bob Conklin, and to Len and Susan Magazine and their company Real Estats, providing statistical overviews for residential real estate in Oregon and Washington. Check them out at www.realestats.net. And of course, we are so grateful for the studio at North Rim, where we record our podcast. If you want to do a show, check them out at studioatnorthrim.com. All right, so today we have in the studio Scott Coopwood, who is a wonderful actor I met years ago in Portland, Oregon. And it's great to have a live actor in here to tell me a story. It's wonderful to have them sent to me, but to have somebody live.
This is exciting. It's my pleasure. Happy to be here.
Great.
Yeah.
So you are a veteran actor, and you started in college.
Yeah. Essentially, I mean, I discovered it in high school, but I really started to take it seriously when I got to college, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. So I went to the University of Arizona in Tucson, and then left and did all the actor places. I helped start a summer stock in Vermont, which is the story I'm going to tell you is about that summer stock. But then I lived in New York City, and then I lived in Chicago, and then now I live in the Bay Area.
Well, let's go to that story in Vermont. You as a young graduate, you already graduated, and
From
you're
college,
a young
yeah.
professional.
Yes.
Okay.
So we were working in a converted barn in upstate Vermont, very close to the Canadian border, and we were doing a play called Zastrozzi, Master Criminal of Europe by George Walker. And I played the crazy artist character named Varezzi, and he is killed in a sword fight about 13 minutes before the end of the play. But the play requires that he remain on stage in his state of demise until blackout, until curtain.
So about 13 minutes.
Of being dead, just laying there, and that's okay. I mean, that's what it called for, and that's what I'm here to do, is do my job. And it's a really great script if you ever get a chance to read it. But my experience that particular evening goes like this. So the show's going along great, everything's wonderful, and the sword fight happens, and nobody gets hurt. And I'm stabbed, and I die, and I'm on the ground, and I'm waiting just with my eyes closed, trying not to breathe, so nobody can see the rising and falling of my chest, because we're in a very intimate setting, 3/4 thrust with about 115 people like wrapped right around you.
So intimate.
So yes, and you're trying, like, you know, the good actor, I don't want to see them.
Yeah,
they'll look and I'm
breathing.
breathing, and then it's going to mess up the whole vibe for the, I got to be here 13 minutes, so I try to zen my breathing down to nothing. So I'm laying on the floor of the barn, the stage, and a couple of minutes into the period I have to remain deceased, and my eyes are closed, and I'm a good actor, so that's my job, is to remain deceased. And I feel on my left hand something crawl onto my left index finger.
Oh my God.
It makes its way up to my first knuckle. It makes its way up to the back of my hand. It moves up my wrist and then up my forearm, and my heart rate is accelerating, but I'm not going to open my eyes because I do not want to give away the illusion that I am dead. So it moves up to my elbow.
Oh my gosh.
And then it moves up my arm to my shoulder, and it continues to crawl. It moves across my shoulder, up to my neck where it pauses, and I'm thinking, okay, you just need to stop at this point. You need to stop. And then it starts to move again. And it moves up my neck, and it moves onto my ear. It moves into my ear canal and goes inside.
No.
Yes. And I have still not opened my eyes, and I'm still not breathing. I'm still dead. But I am laying there on the floor thinking, what is in my ear? And if it's in there long enough, will it lay eggs of any kind? What does it want with me? And why did it go in my ear? And I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I'm freaking out. And blackout, end of play. I get up, I take a quick bow, I run. I am immediately thinking, rubbing alcohol. We don't have any rub. What do you put? I can't put gasoline. I can't put any turpentine. No paint from the shop. What do I? Okay, we have a bottle of Jack Daniels. So I go, I go to the dressing rooms and I grab the bottle of Jack Daniels and I fill my ear canal with Jack Daniels because it's alcohol. It's going to kill, right? And it'll clean my ear out.
Yeah.
And it's not going to soak my brain was already, anyway. So I wait. And everybody in the cast is gathered around, and they know now. And I'm like, is it, get it out. And I'm pounding on my head like you have swimmer's ear, and I can't get and I pour more alcohol in there, Jack Daniels, and they're like, stop, you gotta stop. And nothing happens, but I can't hear out of that ear.
Oh my God.
So it's as if I got off a plane and that side of my head didn't pop. So it's full of fluid now.
And
Jack
whatever.
Daniels Tennessee whiskey, and whatever crawled into my ear. What if it lays eggs and burrows into my brain? And what if it's an earwig, or what if it's, anyway. I guess I had some more drinks, and I eventually calmed down enough to kind of just pass out. And when I woke up the next morning, I had kind of forgotten about it, and I sat up in my bed, and I was like, wow. And I felt a little bit, I'd had a few, because I was drinking off the bottle and then pouring in the ear and then drinking off the bottle. And I looked down at my pillow, and there was a spider all curled up dead about the size of a dime that had gotten out and laid to rest himself on my pillow.
Okay, that's like a Stephen King meets, I don't know what, I need to go vomit now. Bravo to you for maintaining death on the stage no matter what.
That's what we do, right?
It's what we do.
Right.
The show must go on. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Actor's Nightmare. If you have a story you'd like to share and want to be on the show, it's really easy. Just record it into your phone and send it in an email to actorsnightmarepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing your stories, and we're always on the lookout for new ones. So please, don't be shy. That's actorsnightmarepodcast@gmail.com. We'll be putting up a new podcast each week, so be sure to subscribe and support the show by liking us on Facebook. And again, I want to thank our sponsors, Artist Repertory Theater, Portland's premier regional theater company, producing intimate, provocative shows that provide a home for a diverse community of artists where they can thrive and take risks. And to Bob Conklin, an ardent sponsor of all things theatrical here in Portland. And finally, to Real Estats, providing statistical overviews for residential real estate in Oregon and Washington. This is Luann Moldovan. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time on The Actor's Nightmare.